Ever wish you had powers like this? Or this? The 10 people you are about to see all have strange, interesting, and sometimes even dangerous abilities that you have to see to believe. At number 10, we have Ahmed Khan, an eye-popping teenager from Pakistan. 14-year-old Ahmed is able to pop his eyes out beyond his eye sockets by over 10 millimeters.
ये इसका नेचुरल टैलेंट है। बेटा दोबारा करके दिखाइए।
ये देखिए, ठीक?
इसको मूव करो। अमेजिंग, कितने खूबसूरती से, कितने हैरतअंगेज तरीके से ये बच्चा जो है ये अपनी आंखों को बाहर कर रहा है। अब एक आंख को बाहर करें,
एक आंख,
अब दूसरी आंख को भी बाहर करें, अब दोनों आंखों को बाहर करें। अब मेरा कैमरा अगर आपको मुख्तलिफ डायरेक्शंस में दिखा सके तो आप देख सकते हैं ये कितनी खूबसूरती के साथ और कितने दिल फरेब और हैरत अंगेज तरीके से ये काम कर रहा है। अगर आप किसी मूवीज में
Ahmed said, I have never visited an ophthalmologist for my vision. God has given me this talent, so I am sure he would take care of my eyes too. Only when I do the eye stunts for long, my eyes become a little watery, but otherwise I have no problems in popping my eyes out. At number 9, we have a case of electrokinesis. Electrokinesis is the manifestation of the control of electrical energy. In this video we see a demonstration of electrokinesis of a pedestrian on a street lamp.
Yeah, the lights are on. Now I'm gonna walk closer to this light. This is case of that again. And I'm gonna show you how this light is gonna do some weird shit. It just went out. Now it looks like it's trying to come back on. You can see my hand is touching it. And there it is. Wow. Let's see what happens. I come up, bam, and now it's off. Cable there too, induce.
At number 8, is a Chinese boy that grabbed the interest of the world with his ocular powers. It was claimed that he was born with natural night vision. He was born with strange blue eyes that allows him to see in complete darkness.
Believe it or not, there's a boy in Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region who has the ability to see clearly in the dark.
In the dark, Nung's eyes would emit a kind of blue-green light when shone upon by a flashlight. His eyes were just like cat's eyes. Since his eyes never bothered him and his sight was good, gradually his family began to care less about them. Nong was an outstanding child. He enjoyed playing outside with other kids. As time passed, his head teacher noticed something peculiar. If the children were playing outside in bright sunlight, Nong would have to squint his eyes, and he'd complain about blurry vision, but everyone else could see normally. Just a few days ago, a journalist from Hung County reported on Nong Yosui. They performed a test. The journalist wrote down some questions on a piece of paper and gave it to Nung. They then covered a stairwell and used blankets to block out most of the light. Nung entered the room and completed all of the questions, even the filling in of the blanks. Since then, Nung's cat's eyes have become famous.
Number 7 is a Russian man that takes body contortion to another level. Mikhail Bulgakov is a man with complete physical control over his skeletal and muscular systems. He can isolate and move any part of his body in abnormal ways. At number 6 is a monk named Hai Tank. He created a technique called finger skill at the age of 40 that allows him to channel all his strength into one finger. Now an old man, at the age of 90, he is still able to use the skill to lift his entire body off the ground using just one finger. Number 5 is a man that has mastered the power of controlling the wind. Called aerokinesis, but more common in popular culture it is called airbending. This is Michael Grubb, a man that is able to control the flow of the wind and even compress air into blasts.
Because it doesn't look like there's anybody over here on this side. It's almost warmed the way I like it too. Like I said, as you can see, it's pretty obvious, wouldn't you say, Kyle?
At number 4 we have a man who mastered the power of pyrokinesis. Pyrokinesis is an alleged psychic ability allowing a person to create and control fire with the mind. In footage from a documentary aired years ago, we see a man who could create and use fire from his body at will.
For years we followed him around Java on his healing rounds, pleading to be allowed to film him, but he always refused, saying his powers resulted from a type of meditation with an ancient tradition of secrecy. He then took our newspaper outside and showed us how chi can also be used to set things on fire. When he heard we'd shown this footage in public, he was very upset and refused all our future efforts to contact him again. As the years passed, we sadly resigned ourselves to never seeing him again.
Number 3 is a shocking viral video that has been circulating on the internet. In the video we have two girls with a GoPro camera showing off their power of invulnerability. Invulnerability is the ability to not be hurt, wounded, injured or damaged. Number 2 is a man with the power to snap pure steel using nothing but his hands, among other abilities. He can flow his inner energy to do things that would be otherwise considered impossible.
Master Zhou will wrap 14 steel wires tightly around his chest, restricting his breathing. Through the power of Qi, he will snap all 14 wires, and at the same time he will break a metal leaf spring with his head.
At number 1 is a man that turns heads everywhere he goes.
Russian waiter Alexander doesn't need eyes in the back of his head because he has the peculiar ability to turn his neck through a complete 180 degrees. Normally the muscles and the vertebrae in the neck prevent that happening, but because of a peculiarity in his spine, Alexander has confounded orthopedic specialists for years.
Many years ago I started doing gymnastics, he says. That's when I noticed that my vertebrae seem to be very flexible and that I can turn my head farther than normal. I worked at it little by little, going a little farther each time, and one day I was able to turn my head all the way around.
Despite the somewhat unsettling crunching of bones, Alexander claims to feel no pain, which is more than can be said for the people sitting behind him on a bus.
When I do it, it takes energy out of my whole body, he says. It requires 100% concentration. This may sound silly, I know, but in that moment, I don't feel like myself. It's as if I were another person whose body is filled with some kind of energy. I've been a radiologist for more than 30 years, he says, but I've never seen anything like it. Alexander is extremely flexible, no doubt about it. However, I suspect that it's a congenital ability. It's not something anyone could learn or train for. On the contrary, if someone else were to try it, they would surely break their neck. For me, it's absolutely normal and doesn't hurt at all.
The fact that he can turn other people's heads as well, although obviously not as far, has encouraged Alexander to take his peculiar skill on a concert tour.
Want to see more videos like this? Subscribe to Sandbox 10.